So I wanted to talk about embracing paradoxes and what actually are paradoxes, how they help you grow. If I was going to define paradoxes, the context I'm speaking about them are, what actually is a paradox? It's two sides of the same coin, or two extremes on the one polarity. And they're not actually, in that essence, they're actually the same thing, because it's on the same scale, but they're just two opposite ends. So when I speak about paradoxes, that's what I mean. And how paradoxes, the ideas of paradoxes, help you grow spiritually, mentally, and they cause you to grow by having to refine your ideas, because you're defining it, and they cause you to accept and own those ideas. So it's kind of empowering in that sense. And even if that's accepting the unknown, doesn't mean refining it to a T. Even if it's the unknown, it causes you to agree with that idea and accept it, because you've contended your own thoughts. So in that sense, it helps you grow, because it is challenging. And now paradoxes are everywhere. I believe in every paradox there's a deeper hidden meaning of something for you to look into. In the paradoxes, there's these hidden gems of knowledge and growth for you. And I actually think we're presupposed to them already. And that's sort of part of being human, right? And I think that's not just cultural, I think that's biological as well, that we can recognize these things. Now, the argument against this is there are people that don't like paradoxes because it's too conflicting and it doesn't completely define. It always holds a conflicting thought together at once, which is the nature of a paradox. I'm going to go in here, where this magpie is walking. There are people on their journey that will not contend their own thoughts or beliefs or ideas, and the paradoxes evoke too much change or maybe too much fear. So they can argue against them, because for them to have it make sense, it has to be either something or something else. It has to be black and white idea. And I don't blame them, because this is the mistake culturally, I think, in Western society, is that we have this agreed upon idea of what an objective truth is. And that's just because of the age we're in right now of science, because that's exactly how you make grounds in any field, is to have an objective truth that you're going to go out and discover. You have to agree upon that to do any research, really, or any sort of, to make any sort of, have any sort of outcome. You have to just agree that there's an objective truth. And that's fine. If you realize that's what you're doing, you're agreeing to an objective truth. But the paradox of the objective truth, obviously, is subjective truth, because that's also true and cannot be ignored, in my opinion. But because of things like religion and science, they actually do the same thing in that. They agree upon an objective truth, and through that, people will assume that that's all there is, and there's no other way of viewing any sort of situation. It's only objective truths, and I think that's a mistake. So this is why I think paradoxes are really important, because they help you grow in challenging your thoughts like that. And you're actually capable of holding two different thoughts at once. This is half the reason why I'm making this video, why I want to talk more deeply into these notions and start this blog, because people don't really challenge themselves, and it's not welcomed. It's not like a public thing where people challenge their ideas, get their ideas challenged. People don't like to get their ideas challenged, because it's exactly that. It's a challenge. It's who wants more challenge? Unless you're seeking it. And I am. That's what I'm seeking. I like to be challenged. Okay, so you can hold two ideas at once. You can hold two thoughts at once. Your brain is actually completely capable. Your mind, your body, everything that is you can do that. That's why I think this actually is part of being human, because we kind of do it automatically anyway, and we go through emotions affect that too. So you might be in a different mood and you might feel a certain disposition towards something. I'm speaking so generally here, if you can't tell. You might have a certain disposition towards something when you're in a certain mood, say for when you're angry, and then when you're not angry, you can think a certain way and you can see the benefits and negatives of something. So, you know, even through having your consciousness, you know, change through your day-to-day life, that's going to affect the way you think about something. Side note here, but paradoxes, yeah. Okay, so hidden in the paradox is a deeper meaning. Now, I actually think there's a paradox in every single statement, even. Every single subjective and objective truth, there is a paradox. For example, you're born and then you die. I mean, isn't that the biggest paradox of all time? You know, like the completely two opposite ends of the one scale that you will experience both of. You know, there's obviously easier ones to talk about, like hot and cold and night and day, and, you know, just scale polarities of the different thing. Now, I'd argue that a paradox is the same thing. I know some people probably think, no, it's not. It actually is. For example, if you have some sort of idealistic belief where you believe in an absolute truth, say you believe in God, so you are agreeing upon the fact that you are not God, but you're believing in a God that is completely all-knowing and all-present and all things, if that's the God you believe in. So that's an inherent paradox in itself, even. So through paradoxes, you can refine your thoughts, you can own your thoughts and be more responsible for them, which is empowering. In this sense, it helps you grow. So, and embrace them. I think to fully utilize this concept of paradoxes, you have to embrace them. You have to embrace paradoxes if you want to grow. If you want to contend and challenge ideas and thoughts, you have to look and refine both sides of the same coins, of the same polarity, and challenge your ideas. Another really interesting paradox is the concept of consciousness in relation to you being an individual and having consciousness, and us as a collective having consciousness. And what actually is that consciousness? That in itself is another paradox. In that you are an individual, but you're connected to a larger body of the human race. And we're all connected in that manner. You know, even if not consciously, biologically you are. In our DNA. In your DNA, we're connected. You know, and in that sense, we're connected to everything, because everything is made up of the same building blocks, right? And this is awesome, because this is going to bring me to another point I wanted to talk about, is that everything here that exists, right, that is connected through DNA, that is existing right now in the present, has a valid, purposeful meaning behind it. This tree didn't just grow there for absolutely no reason. What do I mean by that? The sun caused, you know, through when the seed fell on the ground there, or if someone planted it, and it grew, it got watered, it flourished. It happened because of the laws and the reasons of these laws. That's why that happened. And everything doesn't exist without being subject to these laws, to these reasons. And that includes you as a human being. And that is an idea that's getting lost, or has been lost, that is kind of resurfacing now because people are looking for more meaning, because we're not finding it in culture as much anymore. And if it is in culture, it is more a distraction than a realized, taught line of thinking. It's more or less just a fleeting idea where you can see skims of it in pop culture and in learning institutions, but it's not fully realized. It's not really spoken about the uniqueness of existing right now. Which is why I say you exist right now as an expression of the universe. That's what you are. That's what all this is. Everything is an expression of the universe, and everything has a valid, unique reason for being there because of these laws that have allowed it to exist. And that includes you as a person. I say this because that idea is a great source of motivation. It's a great source of inspiration. As meaning-making human beings, by default, and all you have to do is look through ancient history and their ideals and their beliefs, that this is something that's been part of us since the beginning. Where it came from, I'm not talking about conjectures or anything like that. I'm just saying that this is a part of being human. Having ideals and ideas that shape your life, individually and collectively, whether you realize it or not. See, that's the other thing. This is why I'm talking about this. This is why I want to blog about these things, because I just want to be part of expressing this now. There's not many people that talk about it, or contend it, or even argue it. So, whether you like it or not, your ideas are shaping your life, right? You might not believe it. You might think that this is what your beliefs are. Beliefs are religion. Beliefs are spirituality. Beliefs are, it's not scientism. Of course it's scientism. That's a belief system. That's a framework for you interpreting the world around you. And whether you like it or not, you have those ideas that are shaping your life. So I think it's important to actually get the magnifying glass out, look at these things, and if you want to, right? This isn't like you gotta do this. If you want to, if you're on the journey and you want to refine your ideas, this is something you should look at. The deeper meaning behind you and why you exist right now. We're perfectly imperfect. That's another part of being human. You're always going to be imperfect. You're always going to have flaws. And in doing so, I think they can stem from your beliefs. Majorly, they stem from your beliefs. Any kind of mental disorder that's not completely due to biology, your biology makeup, like hormones and things. But in turn, a lot of the thoughts come out and manifest through your body as well. So there's that idea too. There's that truth. A lot of people would say that a lot of sickness is caused by the mind and by thoughts. So that's another reason why I think this is important to talk about. These aren't just ideas. This is like the part of the essence of spiritual and philosophical growth, which I'm completely on, which is why I want to talk about this and share these ideas too. It's not something that you talk about every day with people. I sort of do, because it's part of who I am, but it isn't normal. I realise that. Getting back to, this thought line I had about paradoxes and how they help us refine our ideas and our thoughts and our beliefs. They help us do that. I'm not saying it's the be and end all. You exist in a body that is here, but in your mind you can travel. That's a paradox. Like, where is your mind? Where is your consciousness held? And in that sense, these other frameworks that we have surrounding the physical nature of this, whatever you want to call it, holographic universe, like the idea of time. Even time speeds up and slows down depending on your state of consciousness. The fact that you have to go to sleep, you're in the wake world when you're awake, and then you go to sleep, and your brain recharges and you enter a different state of consciousness, but you're still awake. Sorry, you're not awake in the brainwave state, but your mind's still active, right? And you enter a different state of consciousness, and it's a different reality. It's not that it's not real, it's just not the same one as before. But you're asleep. It's kind of a paradox, awake and sleep, or a polarity. I know a lot of people will argue against what I'm saying a paradox is, and it's just polarity, but I would argue that they are the same thing. I would actually argue that the paradox is the same thing, because they're two conflicting ideas that are opposite of each other. It's embracing the idea of subjective and objective truth, both. You embrace both. You are capable of holding both in your mind. There is absolute truth, sure. And there's also subjective truth. Your experience of it. It's like different colours. You can't even be sure that everybody sees or hears the same thing as the next person. How are you going to prove that? You can't. You cannot. It completely not provable. The way I see the colour red, and the way you see the colour red, might be two completely different things. We'll never know. But we can agree upon it. That's the acceptance of the paradox right there, and in doing so, you're able to further, deeper, more challenging thoughts. You're able to utilize that tool for something. And now we both agree upon what that color is. Well, now, we can, that means stop at a red light. I don't really know what this blog is forming into, but I want to talk about these things. I have a whole bunch of ideas that I want to keep talking about and sharing as I'm myself going on the journey of deeper thinking and not being afraid to do so, or maybe having courage to do so, I should say. Check that out. That's a big ass tree. Woo. There's another principle that I would like to just quickly mention, because often when I take these videos, I'm walking in this park, and I love going for walks on my day off from training so I can get blood pumping. And the idea of doing things that can help you be a better person, I think that's very important. I think that's something that should be talked about every day. So I heard this the other day, and it's that motion precedes emotion. And what that means is, just summed up in that little phrase, is that you get out and start going for a walk and start moving, that precedes your emotion. Then your emotions start to follow. Sweet. So you start doing things that start helping you, even if you don't think it does first, then it will. So that is something I've definitely proven myself to be true. I don't want to say that's an absolute truth for everybody, but it's worth giving it a shot if that's where you're at. And you might be in a hard place. It's a really good concept to agree upon. I think these are Japanese cherry blossom trees, but they're totally not blooming yet. Are they? I think I'm going to go up there, that hill. Let's go up there. Let's go up the hill, yeah. Heading sort of up this hill here. This place is so beautiful. Oh, look at that guy. He's building a nest. I don't know if you saw that, he had twigs in his mouth. Here we go. Whoa, yeah. Whoa, yeah. That's my meditation chair. I usually come here, do a bit of meditating. Right there in that chair. Underneath that beautiful tree. Yeah, this is a great park. It's really nice to find somewhere that you can go to and like make it your own, like this. Like a lot of people come to this park, but this is my little special place that I come to, and because I come here and meditate, it's a place of peace for me. So as soon as I come here, I think about coming here. I feel amazing just even thinking about it, because I've created this, this whole aura around these ideas behind coming here. There's the tree. There's a chair. Yeah. Oh, there's some ducks. Look at that. Quack. Well, I don't know if you can see that view. Oh, no, you can't really see it. You sort of can see it. It's beautiful. Okay. Well, what can I say? Thanks for watching. But yeah, I plan on doing a few more of these videos. If you disagree with me, let me know. Comment about it. Because there's people that dislike my videos. Tell me why you dislike it, without being a giant troll. Just tell me why. Give me a like or a dislike or a comment, just to get the discussion going about all this sort of, existential ramblings that I have here. I have a few more videos that I want to make. I'll probably delve a little bit deeper into some, spiritual concepts. I definitely want to do a video about Hermeticism and the principles behind that. I am going to hit the noggin about biblical history and mythology. I don't think that's spoken about as much as it should be, and it only takes someone to do a little bit of research to find out a whole bunch of things historically about the ideas and the presuppositions of the Hebrew Bible, and even the Christian Bible for that matter. I think to a degree it's misrepresented, because the people that believe in it actually don't know some of this information. And I think if you're going to represent such a grandiose idea about an absolute truth, you should really contextually learn as much as you can about it. I don't think that's done. The people that are representing these things don't actually do that. They just sort of, because they've been taught to believe it. Oh man, check it out. That is getting really cold and windy. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think. I hope you have a fantastic, beautiful day wherever you are. Peace. Look after yourselves. Be kind to yourself.